And we're rolling. Action. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Hari Om, welcome. I'll introduce here Mukti Ji and Hari Ji. And we're sitting here at Bhavani Dham, this beautiful abode that Mukti Ji stewards. And Hari and I, for the last couple of years, have been able to come here along with other dear souls. And we've had, for the past few years, an annual visit in Shelburne, Vermont. We just completed our retreat here, Be Still and Know retreat here. So we're here to talk about mantra and japa as a practice. And this really, repetition of mantra through what is called japa is one of, if not the most profound practice in all of yoga, in all of spiritual path. It's this significant. And so we want to put some attention to it here and offer some resource. You'll see on our website already, divinegraceyoga.org, that we've explored several mantras, and so this is companion. You'll see below this video a link to the website and some of the resources there. And then we're going to introduce 5 books. There are 5 parts to this video series. The first is, what is mantra? And what is japa? The second is going to be focused on, why do we utilize japa? Why do we engage in this practice, this repetition of mantra? What does it do? What's the efficacy of it? The third is going to be focused on selecting a mantra. And this is something that you can do yourself. You want to do it carefully, but it's beautiful, the process of selecting a mantra and then utilizing your mantra. And then fourth will be how to practice japa. And there are different approaches, different in terms of depth. And then finally, how to select a mala and use a mala. There are 4 books that I'm holding here in my hand. And these books, and I'll just introduce them very briefly. And there are other books as well, but we found these to be very, very helpful, very authoritative on mantra and japa yoga. And we'll have links for these 4 books below as well. This one is Mantra and Yantra, this book by Swami Niranjanananda. This is Swami Sivananda, Japa Yoga. This is Eknath Easwaran, and this is the Mantram Handbook. Very lovely, very practical. And then we'll take some quotes from this, A Goddess Among Us. And this is about Anandamayi, the great saint. And there are direct quotes, direct teachings. And this was in her teachings, in her body of teachings, mantra and japa, repetition of mantra, very much primary. So we'll talk a little bit, and Hari and Mukti will add some comments, and we'll have a little discussion here. First, we're going to read a little bit from this book, this Mantra and Yantra book, on what is mantra. This is perhaps the best explanation of mantra. What is mantra and how is it working that I've seen to this point? So I'll just read. Etymology, the root of mantra, or the root of the word mantra. Here's what's being shared. The word mantra was given to the vibrations as it means the power through which one can manage and free one's mind. This is a big deal. What does it mean to have a free mind?
It means to walk through the world without being bondage, and to be in joy and love.
To not be disturbed by ourself. Yes, by the mind. Exactly. So to free our mind. That's why we say this is a big deal. Mantra is defined as mananat trayate iti mantraha. And then translate it to English. The power, force, or energy through which one is able to liberate the mind from its obsessions is called mantra. And some of you may have heard this teaching in Raja Yoga Sutras or Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which is in Sanskrit, Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha, meaning, or translating to, yoga is the cessation or the freedom from the vrittis, which is what's here being translated into obsessions of the mind stuff. Vritti literally meaning whirlpool. If you've ever felt that you were sucked into a situation that you didn't want to get sucked into, that you felt it, that's a vritti. This is what this word vritti is meaning. So what's being shared is that these vibrations, not words, vibrations. We can call them words, and sometimes we discuss them as if they are words. But in fact, every word is a vibration. And so they're vibrations that are being called mantra. And just a little more of this, in terms of background on mantra and where it's coming from, not the word, but where the mantras are coming from. Why do yogis call these sound vibrations mantra? In the highest state of meditation, when the sound vibrations are revealing themselves to the yogi's mind, when the mind is functioning in harmony with the higher universal energy frequencies, sounds are heard in the form of spandam or vibration. And they are vibrations. There, the vibration is in a state of equilibrium. And these mantras are a sound component beyond the human auditory range. Simply, the sound component of the mantras, there's the part of it that you hear, but the component that's working is beyond the range of the human ear. You can't hear it, not with the ear, but you can feel it in practice. In other words, it has power. And so what's shared is it's a different input from the normal mental masalas. Masalas are the machinations, what we're normally involved in the mind. Hari?
Yes.
What are we normally involved in the mind?
It could be mantra.
And if it's not?
On a good day, it's mantra. Or on a bad day, it's mantra.
Then it's a lot of other stuff.
For example?
It can be worry, anxiety,
Exactly.
stress.
Exactly. It's this, I need, I want, if only, this should have happened. And then the emotional sensations. We could call worry a thought pattern. We can also call it something that is sensed, but stressed and like this. So, yeah.
Yes.
So normal mental masalas are these normal thoughts during the day, which have power. They're also vibrations. And they go to the creation of my mind. My mind becomes the way it does because of the vibrations that I am associating myself with. And I associate myself through thinking. How much of the day are you thinking? We hear something like 75,000 thoughts a day on average, something like this. So what's shared here is that the mantra is a different input from the normal thoughts, as it were, that have gone in to make up this mental structure.
Right. One way I've heard the mind is it's like a monkey, and it's just thinking about, it's wanting to eat, anything it can get eat. And the mind is that way too. It's going to think about these things. And if we give it a mantra to eat, then we'll be in a better place than if we just start, eating our desires and our aversions and focusing our mind on all these things.
Beautiful.
So the mantra protects the mind from its other invasive thoughts it could have.
Much better mental food then.
Yes.
Actually,
healthy mental food.
We would say it's the best mental food.
Yeah.
From that perspective. So let's talk a little bit about Japa. This series is called Japa Yoga. And Japa is a practice. There are different practices of working with mantra. And one that is better known in the West these days is kirtan, or singing with the mantra, Sankirtan. And here we're specifically exploring Japa, and we'll let Swami Sivananda introduce what is Japa. Same mantras are being used. Very simple. These are his words. Japa is the repetition of any mantra or name of the Lord. And here we get the idea of it being a name or a word of the Lord. What does that mean, Lord? We relate to it so many different ways. This means the highest aspect of life, which is eternally at your center. Guru, we use the term guru, that which takes us from darkness to light, is actually within you. It is your own intuitive nature. It is your own intuitive nature. It is not somewhere other than where you or any of us are. And so this name of the Lord is a name of the highest. We can also relate to it as vibration, highest vibration. So japa is a repetition of any mantra or name of the Lord in this Kali Yuga or Iron Age, when the physique of the vast majority of persons is not good. Rigid hatha yoga practices are very difficult, and japa is an easy way to God realization. He says God realization. What does that mean? Happiness. Bliss. Realization of one's self. It is said that when one realizes oneself, then one has realized God. And if one realizes God, one has realized himself. And then he gives this. He says, Tukaram of Dio, a Maharashtra saint, Dhruva, Prahlada, Valmiki Rishi, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, some might have heard of, Ramakrishna, and Swami Vivekananda, and others who have come from this lineage, all had attained salvation by uttering mantra. And so we'll explore more how japa is practiced, but honest to goodness, it is this simple. Hari, how do you practice japa yoga? Tell me your personal. How do you practice japa yoga?
How do I practice with the mala?
And you do what?
And I just repeat it. Repeat the name mentally.
Repeat the mantra.
With the breath.
Mentally.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll explore. Anything to add? There's not much to add.
You can repeat it mentally. You can say it out loud. You can whisper it. There's different methods of expressing the mantra.
And these are all japa yoga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the word yoga is here. What does the word yoga mean? Hari, what does yoga mean?
It means
in the highest sense.
Union with the divine, with God.
Yes, your own highest self.
Yes.
Union.
So unifying the lower self with the higher self. The one you think you are with the real.
Beautiful. Thank you. So this is actually yoga. This is why we call japa yoga. It is a practice which helps us to find that we are already what we seek. And so we'll chant a mantra here for a few moments as we close this segment. And this time we can chant peace mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. We'll chant for just a minute here as we close the segment. And then we will be back with you with an exploration of why we chant mantra and japa. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Namo Narayanaya.